Welcome to the August 2019 update for the Will County Bridges Out of Poverty Advisory Council. We're bringing you this update electronically rather than in person, so I hope this format works out well for you. Thank you for your interest and your support for the Will County Bridges Out of Poverty initiative. Quite a bit has happened since our last update, so we'll go over some of the recent activity and then talk about our future plans and some current opportunities. The first Getting Ahead group wrapped up its 16-week program. We were able to celebrate at the end of May with those that completed the first group. Each of the investigators and the facilitators shared personally and passionately about the impact of getting ahead in their own lives and their desire to spread it throughout the community. The celebration was really a special time that encouraged everyone there just in the initiative and in moving forward with it. The individuals that completed the first Getting Ahead group began meeting monthly over the summer to discuss and design a Staying Ahead group that will be a source of support and encouragement for these and future graduates of the program. While gift cards are not offered for participating in Staying Ahead, the investigators have been eager to stay involved. Our first meeting focused on reaching out to potential Getting Ahead investigators for new Getting Ahead groups and improving the initial communications to better clarify expectations. Later at Staying Ahead, we talked about what the group should look like and how it should function. Currently, we're moving forward with sharing goals and holding each other accountable to making steps toward those goals. We are also hopeful to bring in other community partners from institutions and organizations that understand the Bridges Out of Poverty concepts on a rotating basis to build relationships and teamwork throughout the community. Summer also brought the start of a new fiscal year for the United Way of Will County and the Will County Center for Community Concerns, who both made financial pledges to help support two new Getting Ahead groups. We were able to start one in July on Tuesday evenings and a second in August on Thursday evenings. These two groups are off to a great start. Each is guided by two trained facilitators that volunteer each week. Like the first group, these groups have rotating volunteer childcare provided by staff and students from JTHS, and they meet at the Salvation Army in Joliet. They will carry on until early December. Now let's talk a little more about our future plans. We plan to have 4 Getting Ahead groups for the next 16-week session, which will begin in January. To do so, we plan to have 4 more facilitators trained this year in December so that each of the 4 January cohorts will have 1 experienced and 1 new facilitator leading them. We intend to have some of these winter groups branch out to new hosting locations, and we also hope to have at least 1 bilingual facilitator trained as part of these 4 new facilitators being trained. In addition, we also plan to have a local person trained early next year with the national organization AHA Process as an official Bridges Out of Poverty trainer. This person will then be able to host workshops for our community so that more organizations can learn about and implement the Bridges Out of Poverty concepts throughout Will County. If you had attended one of our workshops in the past, they were led by Jim Ott, who did a great job, but is from Iowa, and anytime we have him come out, we have to pay the corporate national company. Having a local trainer will provide us the opportunity to be able to host more workshops like that in a more cost-effective manner throughout our community. We are extremely grateful to the Will County Community Foundation for accepting our grant request, which will generously fund preparing this local trainer, as well as supporting the costs of 2 of the January Getting Ahead groups. Into the future, we hope to continue to expand and grow the Will County Bridges Out of Poverty initiative by hosting community workshops for individuals and organizations, leading more Getting Ahead groups, and continuing to strengthen bonds and connections within the community to break the cycle of generational poverty. So we'll end today with talking about some of the current opportunities. Here are some ways you can help. Currently we have a need for transportation. On Tuesdays and Thursdays we have a few investigators that need to be picked up and brought to the Salvation Army at 6 p.m. and then picked up and brought home from the Salvation Army at 8 p.m. So if you or your organization may have a way to provide transportation for these individuals, that would be much appreciated. In the interim, we do have a rotating group of volunteers that has been taking turns picking them up and dropping them off. Another way that you can help would be in planning for future facilitators, host locations, and investigators for the January Getting Ahead groups. We have a few ideas and we're reaching out to some people individually, but we would definitely be interested in having your input on future host locations, facilitators, and recommendations or nominations for investigators for those January groups. Another way that you might be able to help would be by providing funding for the remaining portion of the January Getting Ahead groups that are not covered. The nice part about the funding for these groups is that most of it is going directly to the gift cards that go to the investigators themselves. We also could potentially use additional funding for facilitator training for those 4 new facilitators for January and or for the future workshops that we'd like to have in 2020. Additionally, we encourage you to continue to share and implement the Bridges Out of Poverty concepts in your own organization and lives, and to invite us to speak with organizations or people that you think might be interested in getting involved. We especially value your feedback and your suggestions on the direction of the initiative. So if you have any thoughts, comments, or suggestions on anything that we talked about in this presentation or that you're familiar with from being in the community or seeing and hearing about these groups, we definitely would value that feedback. The easiest way to get in touch with us is via email, gettingaheadjoliet@gmail.com, and then we can reach out to you from there if you'd like a phone call or would like us to meet with you personally. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation. We thank you for your time and for your continued support. Have a great day.